You can watch an English video and understand almost everything. But the moment someone looks at you and asks a simple question, your mind suddenly goes silent. You know the answer. You may even know the words. Yet fear speaks before you do. If this happens to you, your intelligence is not the problem, and studying more grammar may not solve it. Today, I will show you a simple 25-minute routine that can help you understand natural English, respond without translating every sentence, and speak with greater confidence. Stay with me, because the final step is the one most learners skip, and it can completely change the way you practice English. Here at Lumina Academy, I want this to be more than a listening lesson. I want it to become a safe practice space where you can pause, repeat, speak, and discover that your voice is not as weak as fear has made you believe. Let us begin with an important truth. If you understand English but struggle to speak it, this does not mean that you are unintelligent or bad at languages. It usually means that most of your English knowledge is passive. Passive English is the English you recognize while reading a message, watching a video, or listening to another person. Active English is the English you can find and use at the exact moment you need it. These are related skills, but they are not the same skill. You may recognize hundreds of words and still become silent in a conversation. Your brain has seen those words, but your mouth has not practiced producing them quickly. It is like knowing the names of many exercises without training your body to perform them. Knowledge is present, but automatic ability has not yet developed. This is where many learners make a painful mistake. They believe they need more information, so they collect more vocabulary, watch more grammar lessons, and fill more notebooks. Learning is valuable, but speaking improves mainly through speaking. You cannot develop a speaking reflex by keeping every sentence inside your head. For some girls and women, the difficulty is not only linguistic, it is emotional. Perhaps someone laughed at your pronunciation in school. Perhaps a classmate answered faster than you, and you decided she was more intelligent. Perhaps you have heard people use English as a sign of social status, making others feel small for speaking differently. Perhaps you worry that your regional accent, your Hindi influence, or the influence of another Indian language will make people judge you. You may also have learned to avoid mistakes, because mistakes attract attention. You want every sentence to be correct before you say it. While you are checking the tense, choosing the perfect word, and questioning your pronunciation, the conversation has already moved forward. I want you to separate two ideas that should never have been joined together. Your English level is one thing. Your intelligence and worth are something completely different. English is a communication skill. It is not a test of your character. It cannot measure your creativity, discipline, kindness, courage, or ability to understand the world. A woman can speak simple English and have extraordinary ideas. Another person can speak fluent English and still have very little to say. Your first language is not an obstacle that must be erased. It carries your memories, relationships, humor, culture, and identity. You do not have to disrespect one language in order to learn another. But when you want to speak English more quickly, you must give your brain regular opportunities to practice English directly. Now let us be honest about the word quickly. Improving quickly does not mean becoming perfectly fluent in 7 days. It does not mean waking up with a new accent. It means noticing real changes sooner because your practice is focused. You begin answering without such a long pause. You recover more calmly after forgetting a word. You speak for 1 minute instead of 10 seconds. You participate once in class instead of staying silent for the entire lesson. These changes may look small from the outside, but inside a learner, they are enormous. Let me tell you about a young woman named Zoya. She lived in Lucknow and was completing a nursing course. She understood her textbooks well, and she could write acceptable answers in English. But during practical training, she became nervous whenever a supervisor asked her a question in English. One afternoon, a supervisor asked Zoya to explain how she would reassure an anxious patient. Zoya understood the question. She even had a thoughtful answer. But two students were standing nearby, and she became conscious of every word. She began, stopped, and finally said, "I know the answer, but I cannot explain." For the rest of that day, she kept replaying the moment in her mind. She was not upset because she lacked knowledge. She was upset because fear had hidden knowledge she already possessed. That evening, Zoya opened her textbook and prepared to memorize more vocabulary. Then she stopped. More vocabulary had not solved the real problem. She needed to practice retrieving the English she already knew while experiencing a little pressure. So she began a daily routine I call the Voice Loop 25. The Voice Loop takes approximately 25 minutes. It trains your ears, mouth, memory, and confidence in one connected routine. You listen, imitate, personalize, record, and communicate. Instead of studying 5 unrelated things, you take a small group of useful expressions through a complete cycle. For the first 5 minutes, choose a short piece of clear English. It might be part of an educational video, a simple interview, or a short conversation. Do not choose something so difficult that every sentence confuses you. Your goal is not to prove how advanced you are. Your goal is to notice useful language. Listen to the same short section more than once. On the first listen, understand the general meaning. On the second, notice how the speaker joins words and where the voice pauses. On the third, choose 3 to 5 expressions you could actually use. For example, you might hear these expressions. From my experience, I'm not completely sure, but could you explain that again? And the main reason is. Do not collect 20 expressions. A small number used repeatedly is more powerful than a long list forgotten tomorrow. During the next 5 minutes, shadow the speaker. Shadowing means listening to a short phrase and repeating it with a similar rhythm. You are not trying to steal anyone's accent. You are training your mouth to move through English more smoothly. Let us practice now. Listen first. I understand the question. Give me a moment to think. Now say it slowly. I understand the question. Give me a moment to think. Once again, but this time, say it as if you are speaking to a teacher or interviewer. I understand the question. Give me a moment to think. Notice what this sentence gives you. It does not only give you English, it gives you time. Instead of freezing, you remain part of the conversation. Here is another one. I'm not completely sure, but this is how I understand it. Pause and repeat. I'm not completely sure, but this is how I understand it. That is a useful sentence for class discussions, meetings, and interviews. You do not need to pretend that you know everything. You can speak with honesty and still sound confident. During the next 5 minutes of the voice loop, stop copying the speaker and speak from your own experience. This step matters because repeating a sentence is not the same as creating one. Take the expression, "The main reason is," and connect it to your real life. The main reason I want to improve my English is that I want to express my ideas clearly. The main reason I feel nervous is that I worry about making mistakes. The main reason I chose this course is that I enjoy helping people. Your sentences do not need to be impressive. They need to be true. Personal sentences are easier to remember because they belong to your life. Zoya used this step to prepare for situations she regularly faced during her nursing course. Instead of memorizing complicated speeches, she practiced short responses such as, "First, I would listen carefully," and "I would explain the process in simple language." At the beginning, her voice sounded uncertain. She often stopped halfway through a sentence and started again. On the 4th day, she became frustrated because she forgot a word she had used correctly the day before. This is important. Progress is not a straight line. A difficult practice day does not mean the method has failed. Tiredness, stress, and unfamiliar situations can temporarily make speaking harder. Do not use one uncomfortable day as evidence that you cannot improve. The next 5 minutes are for recording and reviewing. Use the voice recorder on your phone and speak for 60 to 90 seconds. Describe your day, answer a practice question, or explain a simple opinion. Then listen once without insulting yourself. Many learners hear their recorded voice and immediately say, "I sound terrible." That reaction is emotional, not educational. Replace it with 3 useful questions. Was my message understandable? Where did I pause for too long? Which sentence would I like to say more clearly? Choose only one thing to improve. Perhaps you spoke too softly. Perhaps one important word was unclear. Perhaps your sentences were too long. Record the answer again with that single improvement. Your recording is not a performance for the world. It is information for you. In the final 5 minutes, create one real or simulated conversation. If you have a trusted partner, exchange a few voice notes in English. If you are alone, play both roles. Imagine that you are joining an online meeting. Good afternoon. Can you hear me clearly? Yes, I can hear you. I would like to add one point. Of course, please continue. I think we should give learners more time to practice. Now change the final sentence and make it personal. Say something you might genuinely contribute in your class, workplace, or community. This final stage teaches your brain to use English as communication, not recitation. At the end of the 25 minutes, take a brief mental review. Ask yourself, what did I use today that I could not use easily yesterday? Which expression will I carry into tomorrow? Zoya did not feel confident after her first voice loop. She did not feel fluent after the third. But after several days, something practical began to change. When she forgot a word, she no longer ended the entire answer. She learned to rescue the conversation. That ability is more valuable than knowing every word, because no speaker knows every word. Listen to these rescue phrases and repeat them with me. Let me explain it in a simpler way. Again, let me explain it in a simpler way. I don't remember the exact word, but I can describe it. Repeat. I don't remember the exact word, but I can describe it. What I'm trying to say is that we need more time. Now you. What I'm trying to say is that we need more time. Could you please repeat that more slowly? Repeat it calmly. Could you please repeat that more slowly? These are not signs of weak English. They are tools used by capable communicators. A conversation does not require perfection. It requires the ability to continue. And continuing does not mean speaking as fast as possible. Many learners believe that speed is proof of fluency. They hear a confident speaker and try to copy the speed before they have developed control. Their words become unclear, their breathing becomes uncomfortable, and one mistake causes the whole sentence to collapse. Speak slowly enough to remain connected to your meaning. A clear sentence spoken calmly is more effective than a fast sentence nobody can understand. Your natural accent is not a defect. Every English speaker has an accent, including native speakers. You may improve individual sounds when they affect understanding, but you do not need to hide where you come from. The purpose of pronunciation is clarity, not imitation. Try this sentence with me. I would like to share a different opinion. Say it slowly and give each important word enough space. I would like to share a different opinion. Now, imagine that someone disagrees with you. Keep your voice calm and continue. I understand your point, but I see the situation differently. Repeat. I understand your point, but I see the situation differently. This is useful in a classroom, a meeting, or a conversation with friends. Confidence does not require you to become aggressive. You can speak gently and still speak clearly. Zoya began using expressions like these during her training. At first, she used them only while practicing alone. Then she set herself a small goal. During each practical session, she would ask or answer one question in English. On Monday, she wanted to ask her supervisor for clarification. She knew the sentence, but when the opportunity came, fear returned. Another student asked the question first, and Zoya remained silent. She felt disappointed, but she did not call herself a failure. That evening, she recreated the moment in her voice loop. She said, "Excuse me, could you please explain the final step again?" Then she imagined the response. Of course, which part was unclear? She answered, "I understand the first two steps, but I am not sure about the final one." The next day, she found another opportunity. Her voice was quiet, but this time she asked the question. Her supervisor explained the answer and continued the lesson. There was no dramatic celebration. Nobody in the room knew how important that ordinary exchange was to her. But Zoya knew. She had taught her brain that nervousness did not have the authority to close her mouth. This is how confidence develops. You practice a sentence in safety, use it in a small, real situation, and then return to practice with new experience. That is why I call it a loop. Each attempt prepares you for the next one. Now, let us apply this method to situations you may face in your own life. Suppose you need to introduce yourself. Many learners try to memorize a long introduction filled with formal vocabulary. If they forget one sentence, they lose the rest. Instead, build your introduction from small sections that can stand independently. Listen first. My name is Radhika, and I'm currently studying computer science. Pause and repeat. My name is Radhika, and I'm currently studying computer science. I'm especially interested in solving practical problems. Repeat. I'm especially interested in solving practical problems. At the moment, I'm working on becoming a more confident communicator. Now repeat it. At the moment, I'm working on becoming a more confident communicator. You can replace the details with your own. You may be studying, working, looking for employment, managing your home, or returning to education. Your introduction should represent your real life. Perhaps you could say, "My name is Neha. I recently completed my degree in commerce. I enjoy organizing information and working with people. At the moment, I'm preparing for new career opportunities." Simple English can still sound mature when the ideas are organized. If you are participating in class, prepare a few sentences that help you enter the discussion. I would like to answer this question. I agree with part of that idea. Could you give us another example? I have a question about the second point. Choose one and say it now. Do not wait for the day when you suddenly feel fearless. Choose one sentence before class and look for a suitable moment to use it. Preparation reduces pressure because your first few words are already available. During an online meeting, you may need different expressions. I'm sorry, my connection was unstable for a moment. Could you please share the document again? I would like to clarify one detail. Before we continue, may I ask a quick question? Practice these sentences before the meeting begins. Athletes warm up their bodies. Speakers can warm up their mouths. Spend 2 minutes saying the first sentences you are likely to need. This small preparation tells your brain that English is coming. You will not be meeting the language for the first time under pressure. For a phone call, begin with an opening you can trust. Hello, my name is Simran. I'm calling to ask about the course. I would like to know when the next session begins. Could you please tell me what documents I need? If possible, could you send the details by email? Now imagine that the other person speaks too quickly. You do not have to pretend that you understood. Say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part. Could you please repeat it more slowly?" Let us repeat that together. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part. Could you please repeat it more slowly? Asking someone to repeat a sentence is not embarrassing. Giving an incorrect answer because you were afraid to ask can create more confusion. Clear communication includes checking what you heard. Job interviews create a special kind of pressure because learners feel that every word is being evaluated. Preparation helps, but memorizing complete answers can make you sound unnatural. If the interviewer changes the question slightly, your memorized paragraph may no longer fit. Prepare ideas instead of speeches. For the question, tell me about yourself. Choose 3 ideas: your present situation, 1 useful strength, and what you hope to contribute or learn. You might say, I recently completed my degree in business administration. During my final project, I discovered that I work well when I have to organize a team and solve unexpected problems. I'm now looking for an opportunity where I can continue learning and contribute responsibly. You do not need complicated words. You need a clear structure. Now let us practice a common interview question. Why are you interested in this opportunity? Take a moment before answering. You can begin with, I'm interested in this opportunity because it matches both my skills and the direction in which I want to grow. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm interested in this opportunity because it matches both my skills and the direction in which I want to grow. Then add a specific reason from your own life. Specific ideas sound more convincing than memorized praise. If your mind becomes blank, use the phrase we practiced earlier. That is an important question. Give me a moment to think. A thoughtful pause is better than a rushed answer. Now we need to speak honestly about grammar. Grammar matters because it helps people understand when something happened, who performed an action, and how ideas are connected. But grammar should support communication, not prevent it. You do not need to master every rule before you begin speaking. Use the grammar you already know, notice the mistakes that repeatedly cause confusion, and improve them through focused practice. Imagine that you say, yesterday I go to the library. The listener will probably understand you, even though the verb should be in the past tense. You can correct it and repeat. Yesterday I went to the library. That correction is useful. Saying nothing because you feared choosing the wrong verb would give you no speaking practice at all. Do not try to correct 5 grammar problems while you are still speaking. Finish the thought first. Review it afterward. Communication and correction can work together, but they do not always need to happen at the same second. Zoya had a habit of stopping whenever she noticed a mistake. She would say, the patient needed no, the patient needs, and then lose her entire idea. During her recordings, she practiced completing the message before correcting it. She learned to say, the patient needs clear information. If she heard a mistake in the recording, she repeated the complete sentence correctly afterward. Gradually, correct patterns became more familiar because she heard herself using them in meaningful situations. If you do not have an English-speaking partner, please do not use that as a reason to postpone speaking. A partner can help, but there are many ways to create active practice alone. You can narrate a task while you are doing it. Not every object needs a label, and not every action needs to become a vocabulary lesson. Choose one real activity and explain your decisions. While preparing for college, you might say, I have an early class today, so I need to leave before 8. I'm taking an umbrella because the sky looks cloudy. I also need to review my notes before the lecture begins. This trains connected speech, not isolated words. You can send private voice notes to yourself and answer them later. In the morning, record a question. What is one thing you want to complete today? In the evening, answer it in English. You can also create a role play. Place an empty chair in front of you and imagine that you are speaking to a teacher, interviewer, customer, colleague, or new friend. The chair may be empty, but the language practice is real. If you join an online language group, choose one that respects learners and protects their privacy. You are allowed to leave any group where people mock accents, behave inappropriately, or make you uncomfortable. A safe learning environment is not a luxury. It is part of effective practice. You can also shadow short educational clips, but remember that shadowing is only one stage. After repeating the speaker, close the clip and express the same general idea using your own experience. Otherwise, you may become excellent at copying sentences, but remain uncertain when you need to create one. The next step is the one that changes everything. You must begin reusing a small group of expressions across different situations. Suppose this week you choose the phrase, "from my experience." Use it while discussing education, work, friendship, or learning. From my experience, short practice sessions are easier to maintain. From my experience, asking questions prevents bigger mistakes. From my experience, people improve faster when they feel safe. One flexible expression can help you create many original sentences. Reuse is not laziness. Reuse is how language becomes automatic. Zoya chose 5 expressions for 1 week. Among them were, "Let me make sure I understand," and "the most important thing is." She used them in recordings, role plays, conversations with a friend, and practical lessons. By the end of the week, she no longer had to search for them. They had become part of her active English. Then came a difficult morning. Her supervisor asked her to explain a procedure in front of the group. Zoya began well, but halfway through, she forgot the English word she needed. For 1 second, the old fear returned. She could feel everyone waiting. In the past, she would have apologized and stopped. This time, she took a breath and said, "I don't remember the exact word, but let me explain what it does." She described the object in simple English. Another student supplied the missing word, and Zoya completed her explanation. Her answer was not perfect, but she had remained present, communicated the meaning, and finished what she had started. That moment taught her something no grammar exercise could have taught alone. Forgetting one word does not mean losing your voice. It means finding another path to your meaning. After that experience, Zoya stopped measuring every conversation by the number of mistakes she made. She began asking a better question. Did I communicate what mattered? That question changed the way she practiced. She still corrected her grammar and pronunciation, but she no longer allowed correction to become punishment. She treated each mistake as useful information. If people could not understand a word, she practiced that word more clearly. If her answer became confusing, she shortened her sentences. If she paused too often, she reused the same expressions until they became familiar. You can do the same. When reviewing your English, do not say, "My speaking is bad." That sentence is too general to help you. Be specific. Say, "I need to speak more loudly." "I need a clearer opening sentence." "I need to practice the past tense." "I need to pause between ideas." A specific problem can become a practice goal. A general insult only becomes another reason to feel afraid. I now want to give you a 7-day starter challenge. This challenge will not make you fluent in 1 week. Its purpose is to move your English from silent knowledge into daily action. Each day has one small goal, and each goal prepares you for the next one. On the first day, create a recording of your starting point. Speak for 1 minute about who you are, what you currently do, and why you want to improve your English. Do not write a complete script. Give yourself 3 simple ideas and speak from them. You may pause. You may repeat a word. You may make mistakes. Do not delete the recording. It is not evidence of failure. It is your starting line. On the second day, choose a clear English clip that is no longer than 1 minute. Listen to it several times and select 3 useful expressions. Shadow those expressions slowly. Pay attention to rhythm, pauses, and clarity. Then close the clip and use each expression in a sentence about your own life. This final step changes borrowed language into personal language. On the third day, practice asking for clarification. Imagine that you are in a class, an interview, a workplace, or a phone conversation. Say, "Could you please explain that in a simpler way? I understood the first part, but I missed the last detail." Do you mean that I should complete this today? Could you give me an example? Choose the 2 sentences most useful to you and repeat them until they feel comfortable. Your goal is not to memorize every sentence. Your goal is to make 2 of them available when pressure appears. On the 4th day, speak about a real experience for 2 minutes. You could describe a recent challenge, something you learned, a decision you made, or a moment that made you proud. Use a simple structure. First, explain what happened. Next, describe how you responded. Finally, say what you learned. If you forget a word, do not stop the recording. Use one of your rescue phrases. I don't remember the exact word, but it means, what I'm trying to say is, let me explain it differently. The purpose of the 4th day is to practice recovery. Every time you recover from a forgotten word, you weaken the belief that one mistake can destroy a conversation. On the 5th day, create a simulated conversation connected to your real goal. If you are a student, practice asking a teacher a question. If you are preparing for employment, answer one interview question. If you attend online meetings, practice entering a discussion. If you want more confidence with friends, describe an opinion and ask the other person what she thinks. Speak both roles if you are alone. Make the conversation last at least 3 minutes. It may feel unusual at first, but do it seriously. Your brain learns from situations it repeatedly rehearses. On the 6th day, use English with another person in one safe interaction. This may be a short voice note to a trusted friend, a practice call with a classmate, or a respectful language group conversation. Tell the person that you are practicing and that you would like to speak for 5 minutes without being interrupted for every small mistake. Afterward, ask for only one piece of helpful feedback. Too much correction can make a beginner afraid to continue. One clear suggestion is enough for one practice session. If no safe person is available, record a message as if you were speaking to someone and listen to it the following morning. What matters is that you create a complete message for a listener, even if the listener is your future self. On the 7th day, repeat the 1-minute introduction you recorded on the 1st day. Use the same 3 ideas, but do not listen to your original recording before speaking. When you finish, compare the 2. You may not hear a dramatic transformation, and that is fine. Listen for smaller signs. Did you begin more easily? Were your pauses shorter? Did you speak more clearly? Did you recover instead of stopping? Did one useful expression appear naturally? Write down or say aloud 3 improvements, however small they seem. Then choose one goal for the following week. Perhaps you want to answer questions for longer. Perhaps you want to pronounce final sounds more clearly. Perhaps you want to use the past tense more accurately. Keep the goal focused enough to practice. After 7 days, continue the voice loop 25 with new situations and a few new expressions each week. Do not replace your entire routine every time you discover another learning technique. Constantly changing methods can feel productive, while preventing you from practicing anything deeply. Consistency is often quiet and repetitive. That is exactly why it works. Several weeks after Zoya began her routine, she was assisting during a health awareness session. The room included students, instructors, and women from the surrounding community. Zoya had no plan to speak publicly that day. Her responsibility was to organize materials and help participants find their seats. During the question period, one woman raised her hand. She seemed uncertain and asked a question in Hindi about how to explain a health concern during an appointment when she did not know the correct medical words. The instructor understood part of the question but missed an important detail. Zoya knew what the woman meant. For a moment, she waited for someone else to respond. Then she remembered every time she had remained silent while holding a useful thought. She raised her hand and said, "May I explain what she is asking?" The instructor nodded. Zoya spoke in simple English. She did not use impressive vocabulary. She explained that the woman wanted to know how to communicate symptoms clearly when she could not remember technical terms. Then Zoya offered a practical answer. Describe where the problem is, when it began, what it feels like, and what makes it better or worse. The instructor thanked her and continued the discussion. That was Zoya's turning point. Not because every sentence was grammatically perfect, not because she suddenly sounded like someone from another country. It mattered because her English helped one person understand another. Language had stopped being a performance. It had become a bridge. Later, a younger student approached Zoya and said that she also became nervous when speaking English. She asked how Zoya had learned to sound so calm. Zoya smiled because she knew that calmness was not where she had begun. She said, "I still get nervous. I have simply practiced what to do when nervousness comes. That is the truth I want you to remember. You do not have to wait for fear to disappear. You can prepare sentences that help you move through it. You can slow down, ask for time, describe a forgotten word, correct yourself, and continue. Your goal is not to become a copy of a fluent speaker you see online. You do not know how many years that person has practiced or how many mistakes were removed before the video reached you. Comparing your beginning with someone else's polished result will make genuine progress difficult to recognize. Compare your voice with your own voice from last week. Can you answer one more question? Can you speak for 30 seconds longer? Can you ask for clarification instead of pretending to understand? Can you express one honest opinion even when your grammar is simple? That is meaningful progress. There may still be days when English feels difficult. You may speak comfortably with a friend and freeze during an interview. You may pronounce a word correctly at home and forget it in class. Confidence can change from one situation to another because pressure changes. Do not conclude that all your progress has disappeared. Return to your safe routine. Recreate the difficult situation and practice it again. Each return makes you more prepared. And please remember that speaking English should add possibilities to your life, not make you ashamed of the languages you already speak. Being multilingual is not a weakness. It means your mind already knows how to carry meaning through more than one system of sounds, memories, and relationships. You are not beginning with nothing. You are building another way to express what is already within you. Speak slowly enough to honor your ideas. Use simple words when they are the clearest words. Learn grammar without waiting for perfection. Keep a few practical expressions close to you. Listen carefully. Record honestly. Review kindly. Enter one small conversation at a time. One day, someone may ask you a question and wait for your answer. Your heart may still beat quickly. You may still need a moment to think. But this time, silence will not make the decision for you. You will breathe and say, "Give me a moment. I know what I want to say." Then you will begin. Your first sentence may not be perfect. Your accent may reveal the places, people, and languages that shaped you. Let it. An accent is not evidence that you failed to learn English. It is evidence that English is not the only language your voice has known. Your voice deserves space while it is developing, not only after it has become polished. If this 7-day challenge feels useful, begin today with your 1-minute recording. Near the end of the week, you can return and share one small improvement you noticed. Let your progress be honest, not exaggerated. Do not wait to feel completely ready. Readiness often grows after we act. 25 focused minutes will not change everything at once. But repeated patiently, those minutes can change what happens when someone looks at you, asks a question, and waits. The thought inside you will no longer remain trapped behind fear. You will give it words, and those words, spoken in your own clear and imperfect voice, will be enough to begin.